Welcome back, lady lads and gentle lads, to another foray out into the sunless skies. In the previous episode, I forgot what it is that we did. But a quick stop in our journal ought to fill us in. And of the things we have to do is, one, we still have yet to find the well. We have a vision and a fate of the Parzival. Ah yes, that is what we spent most of our time doing, reading through the Parzival's story event. And we do have some trading opportunities. Let's not abandon the prospect just yet. We might still be able to find seeds for Magdalene somewhere or other, presumably. Although... No, I remember now. Our idea was to set upon an adventure to the east, for we have yet to explore those reaches of the Reach. Forgive me today, for I am rather phlegmy, and I'm going to be needing to clear my throat probably quite often. Not to mention sippies of some juice. Indeed, I think we need to backtrack a bit through the parts where we first... well, from whence we first came. Though rather than making a turn to the right, or turn to the left, we are making a turn to the right, and discover Trappisto's Hurry. Rather interesting name for a place. I've been wondering what to call these islands, specifically their edges. The Hybrian Wilds. Well, so long as we're on the right track. But anyway, do I call them coastlines? I mean, we're practically a sailing vessel. Granted, we are sailing through a bottomless abyss, it seems. Always wanted to go to a circus. Mother said no, poor people, disease, the driver looks forlorn, and... oh! We've discovered Polmir and Plenty's Circus. How intriguing. Oh, come now. Ship, boat, train. Thank you. Into the dock you go. Okay, very nice. So we have come upon Gervais' Rest. A traveling circus has settled here, too afraid to go further and too afraid to turn back. Its clanking, gaudy locomotive scavenges such audience as it can from nearby homesteads and delivers them for an evening of shabby, desperate, big-top magic. It seems Mr. Menagerie is passing through Polmir and Plenty's. At the moment, we do not have need of another scout. Indeed, the Cyclopean Owl is sufficient to our needs. More than sufficient, even. Before we continue into the inconceivable circus, let us check out the bazaar. Here they sell barrels of unseasoned hours at a fairly cheap rate, all things told. But we do not have the money for it. They also sell bronzewood, and supplies only. No fuel. How intriguing. On to the inconceivable circus, then. The greatest show, supposedly. That's what the adverts promise, anyway. The reality is not impressive. Aside from the big top that dominates the circus, the palace, or the place, is shabby, poorly maintained, and even more poorly attended. Bored-looking circus folk man rotting booths, and the clowns, painted-on smiles, are no match for the deep-set misery beneath the grease paint. Even the calliope music, playing on a run-down piano, is more grimly resolute than cheery. Grimly resolute than cheery. Well, we only need 10 sovereigns, but first let us write a port report. This doesn't seem a location of tactical importance, even so, there may be interest in who attends. The big top looms dramatically in the fog of the Reach, but it's not nearly as imposing as the massive obelisk floating nearby. Some enterprising soul has hung bunting between it and the big top. As for the circus itself, outside of the performers, it is practically deserted. You may be the first new face in the audience in quite a while. We could recruit crew from the circus, though we don't really have a need. Well, a bored urchin in a dusty top hat waits to take our money as we purchase tickets to the circus. The urchin hands over our tickets with no apparent enthusiasm, though he mutters a swift thanks. The grubby urchin is nowhere to be seen despite having been there. Back in an indecipherable scribble. How droll. Either way, let us visit the big top. The pride of the circus, whatever that counts for here. No one in the meager audience displays any enthusiasm, not even when the ringmaster thunders in on a horse-drawn calliope. Then come the acts themselves. Oh dear. The humiliated magician's trapdoors fail to open, leaving his glamorous assistant notably unvanished. The bereaved acrobat swings from a single trapeze, the other hangs lonely and unused. The pensive clown's fire-juggling act ends in disaster, and not the humorous kind. The less said about the lion tamer, the better. He should recover. We've lost 2 tickets for this strange pleasure, though we have gained a sky story. An odd way to acquire them, I suppose. Let us visit the amusements. This should be enjoyable. At first glance, the circus is in poor shape. A second glance reveals how much worse things are than that. How much worse things are than that. You try the battered mushrooms, and realize why they have yet to take off as a beloved snack. Attempting to dispose of the bag, you duck behind a stall and find a pile of them already waiting. Another visitor pokes their head around. "Is this where the bags go?" she asks and deposits her own with the rest. The circus staff are coming to recognize my face. Well then. I guess we can try sneaking behind the tents, where we're not allowed to go. A pair of clowns, whose painted-on smiles do not match their actual scowls, spot you almost immediately. There is nothing funny about the heavy sticks they carry. You are less than politely escorted back to the big top. Perhaps if you were better known around here, they would be less concerned. Perhaps we do have to attempt a recruitment of the crew. We'll need to be persuasive, as the circus has some kind of hold on people. We fail. The prospective crew member looks tempted, but their eyes keep dragging back to the big top. "I have to be here," they apologize. "I think this is where I'm supposed to be." "Oh, Strange. I guess we can attempt to visit the ticket booth again. Yeah, nothing really happening here. One more try at this? Oh well. The new big top shop, yeah. I guess we have to come back here at some point and purchase more tickets in the future. How strange. How exceptionally and irrevocably strange. And oh, Nilsson's Point. A lovely pillar covered in, well, would Byzantine writing be the correct term here? Eldritch certainly would fit. But really, Eldritch is, I think, a really cheap way to describe the setting. We found Corkery Cove. Not much worth in it. But we've found it. Ah, it's just a packaging. That says this blighter is doing his jolly best to ram us. Bloody drunk fools. Either way. Was it the retiring filmmaker or the cryptozoologist? West-northwest of Winchester. No, that's in the other direction. And what is in the east? Indeed, there has to be something to the east. Oh. Ah, well. I seem to have forgotten. And I need a tale of terror before I can speak with the princess again. Or find out more about her, I suppose. And on that note, I would love to find the well so that I can progress the navigator's storyline. I may very well have to pass through this area, which would be, well, most unfortunate for me. I would prefer having not to do that. Barrels of ours are always a good commodity to keep hold of, and oh, bloody hell. Ah, fine. Must I always get into combat? I am a simple man, after all. I would love to just, you know, shirk combat if at all possible. Well, so long as I can run away from this fellow, I'll be content. And I seem to have managed, for the time being anyhow. Although he is still rather intent on following us. But in the interim, we run across some supplies, and we do have the cargo space in order to carry more of them. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just a passing traveler. You need not worry yourself with my presence. Indeed, pretend as best as possible that I am simply not here. I'm just scavenging supplies and hull points. What an interesting area. Oh, bollocks. Hey, I found tea! The Battle of Culverston. What an interesting place I've run across. A debris field of, well, mangled train wrecks, I guess? Would that be fair? I suppose they are train wrecks. It is rather amusing to say it in such a way, when the thing that comes first and foremost to mind is that they are ships, as opposed to, well, trains. I wonder if we can find a port here. Ah. More corsairs. How comforting. Would perhaps now be a good time to send out the owl, I wonder. God knows we have the supplies for it. And indeed it finds something. Something to be desired. A captivating treasure, perhaps? Or merely something to distract us with tentacles and danger. A homestead that has drifted into here. The incognito princess is delighted. I had a doll's house this size. Much prettier, of course. Before we carry on with that... we need 2 caddies of dried tea leaves. Most unfortunate. Well. Let us dock. This homestead appears to be thriving. A family gathers outside to welcome you. Blue smoke coils from the chimney. We can eat our fill. This will reduce terror if you are starving and buy you some time. And if we are starving, buy us some time. Fortunately enough, we have no need of food nor solace. Had we only some carefully packed munitions, we could have sold it to them, perhaps. In exchange for bronzewood, no less. But while we are here, we can spin them a yarn of our adventures. We have, after all, 2 sky stories at hand. New customs spring up quickly in the high wilderness. One of the most widely observed insists that a good story must be repaid with gifts. And indeed, your host is eager to hear of our adventures. Before we leave, they press a heavy bundle into our arms. How generous of them. Indeed, this does extend the time we may spend here, out in the Reach, trying to find new nooks and crannies to exploit and to dash through. Our aim is, after all, to uncover new ports, new sites, and the like. But there is nothing here. Maybe I'll head along to Port Prosper. I'll head along to Port Prosper and then bounce back down to the right. Although, given our lack of money, it might be in our best interests to merely acquire another port report, exchange it for cash, and then set about our ways again. Decisions. We are no longer of a mood to hunt Tacades. As tempting as it is, and as stupid as I tend to be with these things, I think I shall avoid such a commission. Though I guess I can always accept it for the sake of advancing the plot. After all, we can just hang around battles in order to see how they turn out. And then we can swoop in and salvage what we may find. What is this? A golden dreadnought. I assume that's what it is, and either way it terrifies me to no end. Well now. We arrive here for the first time with our new captain. The Windward Company has thrown open its doors for a celebration of itself. Though we are presently unwelcome, let us return to Queen's Cross Station and offer transport to settlers. Indeed, who may we pick up? Ah, someone who wants to go to Titania. We can absolutely do that. And I guess we can have a chat with the parsimonious chairman. We'll listen to his offer. We've heard it before, and we will accept it. After all, we are in service to the Queen. In the meantime, however, we will write a port report, as we have before, and attend a parade, the Feast of the Red Saint. And as before, we shall mingle with the West Enders. We do want to pursue this storyline, if at all possible. Very good. I think we've caught ourselves up with the Port Prosper storylines at the very least. We are still unwelcomed by the company. Most intriguing. We shall, however, inquire about passage to Albion in case it progresses a plot forward. We shall check the shops for panes of stained glass. And we shall stop by the Emporium to sell some hours. Or purchase hours. Oh, they do not let us sell. Ah, well. We do have what we came here for, which is to say the port report. And if we are feeling especially brave, we can help out with a taxi killing, which I said I wouldn't do. Indeed, I should hold myself to that promise. Though while I am up here in these far-flung reaches, I wonder if I can make a passage around the north through Magdalene's and then into the company house. Yes, let us explore that as a possible avenue of approach. Something shrieks, and there is a peacock wind, which, well... strikes me as less than amicable. Why am I being so stubborn about this? Indeed, if anything, this is preventing our passage to a great degree. Ah, well. So much for that nonsense, I guess. Perhaps if we had better engines. I wonder if turning off the lights saves fuel. Perhaps it does, but I am not such a one to care particularly. I value my crew's sanity after all. And coincidentally, we will be passing through Magdalene, so perhaps there will be an opportunity for us to reduce that terror. Though I once again make attempts to explore as much as possible before I have to double back down and around. And given that we have a fair number of supplies, hopefully we are able to burn them if at all needed. And we even managed to level up. Aha, yes, we were min-maxing iron, I believe. A blockade of New Winchester. We fought in the greatest battle of the Winchester War when the regional governor appointed by Her Majesty was driven from the Reach. The independent Tactes besieged the port. The loyalist stovepipes hoped to hold out until reinforcements led by the Imperial Dreadnought, Her Majesty's displeasure, could arrive. Which side did I fight on? Well, it was the stovepipes, naturally. No more need be said. And oh look, we are rewarded with more hours. How fortuitous. Oh, bloody hell. No. Oh, do I have to fight you? Oh, you dreadful thing. Well, so long as it does not see me, I am very content. Oh, bloody hell. No, it does. It is very aware of us. I am less than content with this. And we have found a terror known as Brayley Rock. Stupendous. Well, so long as we're able to get away from it quickly, I doubt there's going to be much cause for alarm. We would like to steer clear of Canton carries. After all, we lost half our health to one of the bloody blighters. That said, we did find our passage to Magdalene's. Again, a stroke of good fortune that nothing worse ended up happening. While we're here, we are filling out our map. And, as usual, there is a battle going on between the Tactes and a Dreadnought here. And there seem to be currents that one can follow for a mild speed boost. A carmine glow burns in the dark. Magdalene's where you can buy comforting lies, and no... Must I be accosted by Canton carries at every opportunity? And how that was a damaging bump, I know not. Regardless. In the shops and the bazaar, they are looking for verdant seeds. And they pay, or they sell hours at a discount. But what I'm interested in is selling. But it seems that I will have to comfort myself by speaking with a watcher at the station who wants me to relay something to Albion. Indeed, London, of all places. Furthermore, there is an attendant we can speak with. Yes, yes. We've heard this all before, we've gathered port reports from here before. We can observe a guest going in for treatment. Ah yes, it is the trio, on about some, well, matter of a will, no doubt. A harassed captain waits by the steps for his crew to emerge one by one from the chambers below. Each he grabs by the ear and leads to a quiet antechamber. The shouting can be heard from here. If you had complaints about my captaining, you could have just told me directly, not some ruddy actor. Ah, indeed. Well, we can seek a meeting with the amenable host, although... No. First we have to, maybe attend to the keepsake market, only to find out that there's nothing for us to buy. Why did I even click on it? But to treat our terror, we can do that. I think I shall use the salon stewed gossip. The attendant nods solemnly. Congratulations, you are the last entry in the journal. He makes a note in the large red leather-bound book. Today's journal, at any rate. The attendant holds up a candle before 4 doors. I guess we can talk to a very boring individual. Their tedium was sublimely crafted. You recognize the lady as soon as you enter the room. She had been serving soup at the Round Table or some even lowlier establishment beneath the bridges of New Winchester. Had you made a cutting remark? Perhaps you were less than complimentary about the soup. Well, no matter, for here she is now, armed with tureens for you to sample. A stained bar stool has been provided for your comfort, and our terror is reduced. Simple. And it is now, I think, that the amenable host wants to meet with us. Yes. He beckons us close while reclining on a couch. And we must deliver an unwelcome truth to a lachrymose guest yet again. Onwards we plow. But this time, we'll deal with them a bit differently. We could have approached them directly, but I guess we can disguise ourselves as his mother. She drove them apart once. An attendant will help you with the wig and makeup, another with the voice. You look just like the faded daguerreotype. Daguerreotype? What is this word? I've never seen it before. I assume it's some sort of play on stereotype. So anyways, we look just like the faded daguerreotype, down to the teeth. You gnash your jaws reflexively. The lachrymose guest's eyes widen as he enters your chamber. This is a mistake! I didn't ask for this! You never do you? You get to work. When it's over, you doubt he will be returning ever again. Let us return to the amenable host, then. What does he have to say about this? The amenable host smiles beatifically. Of course, my staff will be pleased. It is a risk of our trade, when our clients can no longer separate identity from illusion, but seldom pleasant. He sighs deeply, echoing around the chamber, and I don't think there's any difference from the other method. We just get the same reward. He again gives us a goblet that will fetch a pretty price. Perhaps this is just a facet of a introductory quest, but I am somewhat disappointed with the fact that we got the exact same reward. Or maybe I'm misremembering, but either way, I doubt it. That said, let us once again say perhaps not to this whole sordid affair, and bugger off to the south again. Well, I mean, we can make a pit stop for some supplies. Or a repair of our hull for free. This too is accepted. In fact, with open arms. It does come in quite handy. Either way. It is southwards we go. Oh. Oh, the temerity of these folk. Can I please stay out of your gun arc? Oh, come on now. Obnoxious cretin. Truly, these folk are a menace. Is there no way to deal with combat in this game other than to engage in it mandatorily? You could escape from it so well in Sunless Seas, but admittedly at somewhat of a risk to yourself. Can I not please return to those days? Truly a much simpler time it was. One where I did not have to deal with, well, hull damage to this degree. Oh well. We are nearing New Winchester, and I suppose that is a bit of good fortune for us. Our journey did not happen to go very far. We didn't pick up any stories yet. Well, we picked up some. We tried to explore another path. And I guess we can head down potentially to Titania and deliver our passengers for some money. We'll have to find out, I guess. In the meantime, it is to the company house we go to deliver our port reports to the tune of 500 whole sovereigns. A really good number. I like that number. Are there any bargains available in the bazaar? Unfortunately, it seems no is the answer. What about at Tackety Junction, otherwise known as Victory Hall? Do they perhaps have seeds to sell, which we could deliver to then Magdalene's? Nope, they do not. I suppose it does not much matter. It is to New Winchester that I go. Where a fortunate navigator makes his presence known. We could purchase him on board, and I think we will, just for the sake of having him. Potentially we can talk to him later on, even. An exploration of the city is not yet warranted. A note from the menagerie is likewise, well, whatever. The black box, still in our possession. And, yeah, I think we must repair, or invest in some repairs. Indeed, we'll just repair up to full. Crew members we shall not hire on. The bazaar, however. "5 panes of stained glass. Where did we see such an offer? This will aid the Tackety war effort, but... I have an odd feeling that... despite the export of unseasoned hours, I think we saw some panes for sale. Yes, some panes of glass, even. Would a return journey to Port Prosper truly be worth it? Well, that'll be a question for another time. Maybe I'll make the journey on my own. Or just cut down to the parts where I actually run into worthwhile stories. Regardless, I think I'll call the run, or the episode here. Things have calmed down a tad, though there is one last thing that I would like to pursue, and that is shielding of a bronzewood variety, perhaps, if I had the money. I guess we'll have to hold off on that for now. In that case, let us put the unseasoned hours and tea leaves off in the hold, as we do not have need of them yet. But at Victoria's Market we shall stock up on fuel. And an extra crate of supplies, bringing us up to 3 spare spaces. And yes, it is like this that we shall end things off. So, once again, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscription, or do whatever else you feel is good. I have been Smastian. It has been a pleasure reading for you again, and I'll see you once more in the Sunless Skies.